today for talk is Fred Gorhau, guitarist for the festive collective known as the Wizards of Winter. The band has a new album called The Magic of Winter. So thanks for taking the time to talk with We Love Metal today.
Thanks for having me, Bill. I really appreciate your time.
All right. Hey, I've only had a chance really to listen to the album a couple of times, but what I've heard, it's going to fit in nicely with my other Christmas metal collection. So
that's cool to hear.
Yeah. The concept of this group kind of, if anyone knows about it, started with Scott Kelly.
We have a couple of members that were original members of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. We've actually gone out with 5 different members of TSO. We have 2 of them that are current members of our band, but the band actually started from Scott being inspired by the TSO to be like we were initially a TSO tribute band, and we were just doing benefits for like the local food pantry and stuff like that. And after the first year, they started asking us about, RCD, which of course didn't exist. So we said, you know what, we better write something. So we started writing music, and it went really well. And we were contacted by a couple of the original members of TSO who had left TSO, and they were putting together their own thing. And they decided that, you know what, we might fit well together. And we did, and it's been fantastic for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I'd say you guys have a less theatrical take on the Christmas metal genre, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, we're more about the music. Number one, because we do love the music, and number two, we don't have that kind of money. I mean,
sure.
That's what TSO does is fantastic, and I'm a huge TSO fan. But I mean, we have a substantial amount of lights and effects, but it takes an awful lot of money to put on a show like that.
Oh, yeah. I got to see them a few years ago, so it was quite a show. Even my parents love them, so kind of a weird thing. How did you personally get involved, recruited by Scott?
Well, I was in a metal band, doing the European festivals in the summer and stuff like that, and trying to make a name in the States, which is really tough in a metal band.
Oh yeah.
And I had seen the ad that he put out looking for a guitar player, and in all honesty, Christmas was it's a slow time. Like I said, the festival season in Europe is usually done by then. You have some things going on in Europe, but there was no demand for us to go over in November and December. And the club scene kind of slows down a little bit because people are putting their money elsewhere. So it was a great side gig for me. I dug TSO, and it was a cool opportunity to play their songs. And it's just exponentially grown in the past 5 years that I've been with the band. So I'm real excited about it.
Okay, yeah. With the new album, I like the diversity of music that you guys have there. What song are you most proud of on The Magic of Winter?
Wow. To pick one, I'm really proud of my guitar work on just about everything. I guess if I had to pick one, it would be Season's Lament, because it's a little more of a shredder.
Yep.
I mean, we kind of run either that or Ebenezer, which also it's kind of course about Ebenezer Scrooge, but it's a little more dark and a little more proggy, and there's some really cool guitar stuff, the tapping at the beginning, and I like to be a guitar player that can flex my muscles a little bit, and with this band it's great because a lot of times you get dialed back if you want to do something a little bit out of hand, or if you want to throw a 5/7 time change in there somewhere, you'll get dialed back. But with these guys, I'll send them something and say, listen, I got this idea for here, and they'll reply, that's great, can you do it in harmony? So it's really cool to get that kind of a response, so it's definitely neat.
Yeah, so the band has taken some traditional, I don't know that you've done whole songs, but at least the melodies and lyrically, and also incorporated your own thing. Is that a community-based writing project, or does, like you said, you throw an idea out there, somebody else throws one there?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. I mean, Scott comes up with a lot of ideas. He'll have a great intro on the keys. Like we were at our final rehearsal yesterday before we go on the tour, and he was playing something. I said, please remember that because that's really cool, and I got 5 things that'll fit with it. You know,
All right.
so I'll have an idea, he'll have an idea, and pretty often it'll turn into something. It's not always great, but you know, we'll start juggling around on it and see if we can make anything of it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, you mentioned you're playing with metal bands. Metal band Explorer, T.W. Durfee, and Steve Ratch, and you guys all have that metal credibility, I guess, what I would call it.
Yeah, that's where we came from. I mean, I grew up listening to Deep Purple and Michael Schenker and Jag Panzer and all the
good
great
shout out for them.
back in the 80s. Oh yeah, I love Jag Panzer.
Don't hear that name enough.
No, they're fantastic.
So you guys, did you guys? I assume you got to influence the metal side of things with the album.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was able to put some of my metal spin on certain areas. Now, there's other songs where they're a little more pop or a little more mellow, which you can do with Christmas, which is great. And I'll play what the song calls for, you know, instead of just, I don't want to say a bad word, but instead of just, you know, banging one out, you know what I mean? There's certain things, you know, maturity, I guess, will come into play where you say, you know what, I would love to do something here, but it really doesn't, the song doesn't call for that. Because I've got plenty of opportunity that I get to shine on this record. So I'll dial it back on the one song, Spirit of Christmas. The solo is basically a harmony with me and Scott.
Uh-huh.
And at the end, I had a choice to do either like a cool string skipping, tapping arpeggio thing, but it really didn't fit when I played it. Sounded okay, and I opted for like a 3 notes that are being held out, and it sounds like the end of a 38 Special song, and it fits perfect.
Well,
so I said, you know what? It's really cool, and I think that fits the song.
Yeah, overplaying can certainly dilute the effectiveness of music. So, yeah, I think it's really a well put together album and flows really nicely. So.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Hey, on a more personal level, how did you get into music in general and metal specifically? You mentioned Deep Purple already, so
yeah, listen,
that was kind of my gateway too. So
yeah, Richie Blackmore to me. I mean, I guess the first memory that I have that I wanted to play guitar was being a little kid and watching TV, and Johnny Cash was on TV with a black guitar, and he was walking across a fake log, of course. Like he was on stage somewhere doing some variety show.
Uh-huh.
And I remember he had a black acoustic, and it had chrome tuners on it. He was walking across to what looked like a log. And I remember the lights hitting the tuners, and they were shining or flickering, and I was like, that guy's cool. But then as I got older, I started seeing Kiss and then hearing Deep Purple from like neighbors, older brothers and stuff like that, and saying, what's this guy doing on guitar? That's really cool. And, then it took on a whole life from there, and getting into, junior high school and high school when our manager, Johnny Z, ironically had his music store. That got me into the heavy metal thing. I used to ride my bicycle to his music store and buy the new Raven record, and buy the new Accept record.
Yep.
All of those bands, Anvil and Raven, and I got a chance to see Metallica play at a skating ring, and it was a fantastic time to be a teenage young boy. It was like all your anger could be taken out.
Yeah.
Because of that. So it was a great time.
All right. Although I didn't grow up on the East Coast, that was kind of my feel too. That you go to these little record stores that they would specially bring in stuff just it seemed like just for me. So.
Oh yeah, it was imports and like this one. Look, check this out. It's only in red vinyl. I think it was Except Fast as a Shark or something that came in. It was just in red vinyl, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Putting it on my turntable and red vinyl. It was blood red. It was awesome. So, yeah, they had us right by, exactly. They knew how to grab us, and the music was fantastic. It was perfect time for me.
All right. Hey, aside from music, what do you enjoy to do with if you have any free time?
Free time that I do have, I love to teach. I've been teaching guitar for 20-something years. And it's mostly geared around music. I take my kids to the movies and run around with we have like Nerf guns that shoot the little Nerf bullets and so we'll have a Nerf war. So we're all running around the house shooting Nerf bullets at each other.
All right.
But it keeps me young, and they wear me down though. I adore them, but it keeps me young trying to keep up with them. And if I can bottle that energy, forget it.
All right. Hey, back to the metal stuff then.
Sure.
I like to ask this one. What's your most memorable live music experience, either as a fan or a player? Now, you already mentioned seeing Metallica in a little skating rink, so that's
that would rank up there as being in the audience. But I would say going to Germany to do a festival and having the opportunity to play with some of the guys that I grew up listening to. I got a chance to go to Europe and play with Angel Witch, which blew me away.
Oh, wow.
And play with Lizzie Borden and play with bands that I grew up and listening to, Armored Saint we played with. So that was really, really cool to me. And I feel very privileged to been able to go out and do those kind of things. It's really cool.
Yeah. All right. Nice. Hey, you mentioned earlier your final rehearsals. So the Wizards of Winter are getting ready to head out on a tour of the eastern third of the U.S. Looks like the biggest tour you guys have had so far.
Yeah, this is the biggest one so far. I've been 21 or 22 cities. We're starting off in Fort Lauderdale. Mm-hmm. And we'll be going, I don't want to mention all the places because I'll forget at least a few of them, but we'll be heading out. We'll be out until, I believe, December 29th or 30th is the last show.
Okay.
So we're real excited for this.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, Chicago's about as far west as you're coming, so hopefully I'll be able to catch you guys when you hit here. And anyone who's in the Chicago area, it's at Thalia Hall, and that's a really neat venue. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a neat place. So, all right. Well, I hope the tour goes great. And my final question for you, Fred, is our website is called We Love Metal. Why do you love metal?
I love metal because the power of the music and when I grew up it was all metal. There was no such you have like 30 or 40 different variations, like it's death metal and it's clock and it's this and it's that and it didn't matter whether you were listening to Metallica or you were listening to King Diamond or you were listening to Jag Panzer or you were listening to Anvil, whatever it is that you liked, it was metal. And, some of it was I liked more than others, but it was all great. It was powerful. You were able to get your teenage angst, but that never went away. I still hear those sounds and the powerful drums and the guitars and the great vocals and aggressive music I always dug. Mm-hmm. And that's why I still love it.
All right. Excellent. Well, hey, to all the listeners out there, be sure to check out the new album, The Magic of Winter from the Wizards of Winter. And once again, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.